Hello, this is Minerva Isabel Gori, mathematician and engineer again. Today, this is the third video on monetary conversation, and so there's different things I wanted to touch upon, but I guess the one that is really important to everyone in the US right now, and probably around the world and everywhere else, is the shutdown of the US government since October 1st. So October 1st is very important in the US government, is the start of the fiscal year. The fiscal year goes from October 1st to September 30th of every year. So if that doesn't make sense, just think about how the Gregorian calendar, which we all live with, starts on January 1st and ends on December 31st. So that's what I'm talking about. So October 1st was the first day of the year for the government, and that means that we use new money. New budgets, they should be approved by October 1st, so everybody gets money that is needed in all levels of government, and then to pay our contractors, and so companies in all industries. We have a few major industries. So there's health, there is manufacturing, there's aerospace, and others. So we haven't been able to pass a budget in government since then. And I don't mean me specifically, I'm not in government, but it does affect me and affects all of us. It affects our supply chain, it affects our food, it affects our prices, it affects our bank, it affects for all those people that don't get a paycheck directly anymore because there's no money. There's a lot of employees that work for the government, they work for contractors and things like that. So I'm saying this because October 1st passed a long time ago. Now we're November 12th, that means we're a month and a half into this. So when I was working as an employee, it did happen like that to me in about 2015, I think it was the year. And so a lot of people were laid off at that time. And so a lot of the projects were stopped and we had to do something else. We had to figure out what to do in our business. So that meant that we had to go and for me to do a lot of research on aircraft, to read through a lot of engineering drawings, see if they had all the parts that were necessary, compare parts from supply chain, the list they had with the drawings, and see where the disconnect was. So I found a lot of those things, and it's very common in engineering drawings. So if you don't have anything to do, and you're an engineer, you need to go do that. It's very important because then when money starts flowing, you can make sure that you have a complete list of parts. You know what are long lead items, and you can investigate that too when you don't have a project and you know it's coming and you don't have money. Like right now, that there's a shutdown and there's no money, and there could be emergency money that's general money within the company to pay those employees, because we don't want to fire employees that are they're experts and they know their craft very well. Technicians and engineers and many other people. Also in supply chain, don't let go of your supply chain people, because then if you get someone new, well, good luck to you. It's not that they're bad, it's that they have to learn. There's a learning curve, so think about that. And so there's a lot of people, I would imagine now, that probably don't have a job, or they were laid off, or they are in furlough, meaning they have to go home, not get a paycheck, and then eventually they're called back. Some people are furloughed and they still go into the office, and I don't know why. They may not pay you, you don't know, but that's just my opinion. I guess all of this is my opinion. I'm just giving you fact and then my opinion. It's very difficult to know if you are from a household that has two people that work for a contractor, or one that works directly with the government and the other one is a contractor to a company. And so that didn't really happen to my family. I was the one that worked for a contracting company to NASA. So we worked on a lot of work with astronauts and things like that, because I worked on aircraft and spacecraft, so a lot of rocket ships. There's one in particular, the Dream Chaser, that was a part of with Sierra Nevada Corporation, and then other things with Ball Aerospace that had to do with, I think that one was satellites and things like that. Very cool stuff, but I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's see. And it's not satellites for communication like cable. No, don't mistake that. It's much more complicated than that. And it's outside the orbit of Earth. So anyway, yeah, I think that's how it is. So I don't know a lot of detail for a reason, because so if you're in a company, you have this type of contracts, and you are with a high clearance or a clearance, try not to remember things that are bad for the country that you should be So make sure you protect data at all time. So anyway, what else? Oh yes, the furloughs, the shutdown. So we are a month and a half into it. So I was talking a lot about spending money and paying your bills. It's very important to pay your bills and make sure that you have money for food. So make sure to pay for your house first. Make sure you have a home so you don't end up homeless. And I did say before we knew if it was going to go on really long time, and I do have some posts on my blog, minervagori.wordpress.com, that talk about that. It's called Eating on Less Money or something like that. I don't really remember because I talk a lot about money there. I think a lot of people just go and read my love letters that I fictionalize, and I think, well, you know, all of you just want me to be girly, and I'm going to go write love letters, and I'm going to write letters. Oh, fiction. I write a lot about fantasy fiction, so you can go read all my stories about, you know, like science fiction and things like that. Very interesting. And all these things. What else do I write about? Poems. Everything girly, I think. I don't know. You tell me, what is girly? So, let's see. So make sure to pay for your mortgage. That is like rent. If people don't understand, a mortgage, it's kind of paying for a payment for your house. So there's two different types of payments mainly. There may be other ones, I don't know. So there's the payment that is called a mortgage. So you're paying a loan to the house. You bought a house, quote unquote, you bought it, but it's not yours till you pay the last cent. So that takes about 30 years. That's the usual loan that you get from the bank. And so you have to finish paying the bank so the house is completely yours. But you're paying for a house that you asked the bank to loan you money, and so they paid the previous owner. So there's no other owner on the title but you, but the bank holds the title until you own it. And if you can't pay, then the bank owns it. So do you really own it? No. So go pay your mortgage. Pay your mortgage first. Make sure that you are on time. It's really hard to pay 30 years of payments, especially if you're a worker and an employee, more so, all at once. So make sure, I guess I can talk a little bit about that. There's principal and interest when you make a payment. So you have an amortization schedule. You can look it up online and you can create your own amortization schedule based on the facts of your loan for your mortgage. So with each statement that you get, I think you should get in the back, you get an amortization schedule, and you can see when, I don't know if it tell you, the one that the bank sends you tells you the beginning of it, but it gives you the details of what you owe now and when it's going to end, and you're going to own the house completely. So those are fun. I really like those. And so I try to pay more principal or extra money every month so that I could own my house. When I had a house that I owned, I already sold it about 2 years ago, I think. I don't remember exactly. So I made sure I paid extra. So when you do sell it, that means that you own more of the house, and that means that maybe you go away from selling your house with a check instead of taking a check to the bank if you're underwater with your house. That is awful. So don't get a high interest rate, and always pay your mortgage so you don't end up homeless. So anyway, there's more nuance to it, and so I don't like that nuance, so I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm already at 8 minutes. I think that's enough information for this. Maybe a few more videos because, you know, I haven't been able to talk about this and I know so much. And I didn't prepare, so maybe it's all over the place, but too bad. If you like the topic, go research it. I'm just glossing over it, and then you have where to start, and so go research. So for a mortgage, for amortization schedule, make sure that you have some type of spreadsheet. So if you have Excel from Microsoft, you can do that there. If not, I think you can easily use Google. If you have a Google account, a Gmail, an email with Google, it's called a Gmail. Then you actually have a free spreadsheet to use there. You also have free document, like a Word document type of thing. So how you go is, if you're in your email, you go to the right side of the screen. There's 9 little dots. You click on it, and then there's a whole list of things that are available to you. I use right now a lot because I'm doing a lot of cute stuff and a lot of things like photographs and things like that. I use photos, so I put my videos and photos there. But you look for the spreadsheet, and so I think it's called Sheets or something like that. That is the spreadsheet where you could put your amortization schedule, and then you could use also documents. The problem in the back, the thing that is not so good about it is that you have to be online at all times to use it. So you have to print it out somehow or save it as a PDF to your laptop if you're going to use it without Wi-Fi, so you can actually read your documents or something like that. So that's the thing that is not as great for it, but it's free. So there it is. So go and investigate and pay your rent. The other one is rent. So make sure if you are living where you have to pay mortgage or rent, a house payment, make sure you pay your house payment and, well, pay your bills. And hopefully, I wish you well for all of you that are experiencing the shutdown. It's awful to go through one. So this has been Areza Bagori, mathematicians and finance expert today. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.